So I totally just curled my hair for this video, and it's not curled anymore. It looks completely straight, right? Totally straight. Alright, ready. Hello everybody, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. If you are part of the family, welcome back. Alright guys, so for today's video, again, we're going to take a little pause on just like the beauty and makeup talk. And we're going to talk about something super duper personal and something that I feel like I have been wanting to share with you guys for a while. And yes, I just haven't gotten around to it, but I'm like, okay, I have like no excuse. My mother-in-law is actually watching my kids right now, so I have plenty of time to do it. So I'm like, just go do it. So here I am. None of this is scripted. It's literally just gonna come out how it is. I don't think I have ever really talked about this. I don't think I have ever really spoken or shared it with like a group of people, maybe just like my husband, maybe my kids when they ask me, but honestly not in public. It hasn't been official. It hasn't been like, hey, this is, you know, my testimony, but here it is, guys. I'm gonna share with you guys my testimony. And I know that first thing that you guys are probably thinking, it's like, what is a testimony? If you guys are not you know, a Christian or part of this faith, you don't know what that is, but a testimony is literally how you came to know the Lord, how I came, or how a certain person comes to know Jesus and discover who he is, and literally have that life transforming moment where yeah, you have died to yourself and have literally, well, not literally, but spiritually been reborn into a new family, into a new faith, into a new way of looking at life. So I'm gonna share with you guys that. So let's start from like the very beginning. This video, I'm not sure how long it's gonna be. I'm gonna try my best for it to be short and sweet, which probably means like 20 minutes, but I'm gonna try my best to keep it short, concise. But you might just grab a blanket, a cup of coffee, just something to, you know, so you can listen to this. So yeah, so as you guys know, my name is Annie. Some of you know, but if you don't, I was not born here in the States. I was born in Venezuela. I came here, I migrated with my family. I have a total of 3 sisters, 2 brothers, and if I can include pictures in this video, I will totally try. I will try my best. If I can't, I'm sorry, but if I do, I will just show it to you right after whatever I talk. So I will try. So yes, I have 2 older brothers and 2 older sisters and 1 younger sister. So all my brothers and sisters and my 2 parents, and actually my aunt, my dad's sister, we all migrated from Venezuela, I want to say in 1992, and I was 6 years old. I do have memories from Venezuela, but not too many, and the ones that I have are very faint. So I pretty much grew up here. I was not born here, but I went to school here. I graduated, you know, middle school, high school, college here. So honestly, my first, even though Spanish is my first language, I'm more comfortable with English. I think in English, I write in English. I feel more comfortable speaking and reading English. But we migrated here, like I said, and things were tough on us at first. My mom actually, my mom's dad was a pastor for like over 40 years. He and my grandma had 7 girls. And they all grew up like in the church, and they were very musically talented, so they would sing. They even actually recorded a record in Venezuela. So my mom, kind of having that in her background and being musically talented, she kind of brought that down to us, to her 6 kids. So we have been singing, we started singing at a very young age, and I remember we would like tour like different churches, and they would give us like offerings, and like we would sing with like different harmonies, and we would have like matching like outfits and dresses and this and that, and my mom would play like what they call the cuatro, which is like the guitar version of the Venezuelan version of a guitar. It only had 4 strings. So she would sing, she would write her own music. They were all Christian music. I remember singing, I remember them taking us to like a studio, to like a radio studio. We would sing there. We were very famous in like in our county, like the Hispanic churches, because we would just travel from church to church and we would sing. Anyway, so that's what we did when we were young. Unfortunately, at the age of 12, my parents got divorced, and me and my younger sister went to go move with my mom. At that point, all my older brothers and sisters were already leaving the house. They were going to college. So yeah, it was literally just me and my younger sister who lived with my mom for several years, and we still, you know, grabbed on firm to our faith. And my mom would later become like involved in like music, as far as like she would lead worship in a lot of like small churches. She would kind of hop around, and yeah, so that's where my faith kind of started growing. But even though I did grow up in the church, even though I did was exposed to, you know, biblical faith and Christ, and you know, trusting in him because of my parents and my grandparents and everybody, all of my family members, really I didn't have a personal relationship with the Lord. I knew of Jesus, but I didn't know about him. I didn't have a love relationship with Jesus. So I can't remember a specific time, but I just remember being at church, even at that age, in that time in my life when my parents had divorced and I was living with my mom. And I remember just seeing people, how they were worshiping God, and how they were just like closing their eyes and they would just raise their hands and they would even just cry out to him. And I remember thinking, man, I don't have that. I don't have that relationship with God where, you know what I'm saying, I literally am giving him my all, or I'm like really trusting in him. And this was like in middle school age. Like I was like 12, 13, maybe 14, around there. And I just remember crying out and saying, God, if you're real, if you are who you say you are, you know what I'm saying, I want to get to know you. I want that God. I want my worship to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I pray to you. I pray to you before I go to bed. I pray to you before I eat my food. I pray to you when things are bad, but I don't know you. I don't know you personally. You know, I know a lot about you. I know all the stories in the Bible, but I really don't know you. So I remember kind of going through that and saying, I want to be able to worship like that. So I remember even entering high school, and of course high school's like those days where like, man, you're just so insecure about yourself and you're not sure, you know, even who you are, what you like. You're literally copying everybody because other people obviously look cooler than you are, so you're following their trend, you're following what they're doing. Yeah, I was just kind of in that, and the Lord just started like working my life, where he just started putting people in my path that were really on fire for God, in having my age. And I thought that was so weird. I had never seen anybody in my age, like at that time, like 14, 15, where they were really on fire for God. And I remember getting involved in like First Priority, which was like a Christian club in my school, and seeing these people like on fire, and they like knew the word, and they knew the Bible, and they knew Jesus, and they had these convictions. And I'm like, I don't have that. So even just having that attitude, and at that age just crying out to God and saying, God, I want to have that. So little by little, you know what I'm saying, the Lord started putting in my heart that love for him, I started simultaneously, or I started, you know, out of the blue, just reading the Bible on my own, like literally getting a Bible, opening it, taking notes, highlighting things, and saying, you know, if this is a God that my family serves, I want to get to know you. You know what I'm saying? I know that you have been through the toughest times, which was when my parents got divorced at that time, and my mom was having a hard time like making ends meet, and just seeing God's hand provide. And I'm like, I know you're real because I see you and I see the things that you do, but I don't know you. So I started reading the word, I started praying, and I remember one night or one day after school, I was reading the Bible, and I just, all of a sudden, I just felt like singing, and I was singing, there's none like you. You know that song, there is none like you. So all of a sudden I started singing, and like my eyes just started getting watery, and I started crying. I'm like, what in the world is this? And just looking back now, I'm just like, Lord, I was totally experiencing you. You know what I'm saying? Like his love, and I couldn't really understand why I was crying, but I just knew that, wow, this God loves me, and you know what I'm saying, and Jesus is real. And that day is just like stamped, you know what I'm saying, like, wow, I totally felt the hand of God in my life in that day. Well, little by little, I started getting more intrigued. I started reading more in my word, being more in the Bible, reading the word, getting serious about my quiet time with God. I'm not gonna lie, throughout my high school years, I did have a relation with God, but it was very, very distant. At first, it was like very, you know, very strong in the beginning after that day, but then like as high school started happening, I started drifting more and more from God. And I remember it wasn't until my senior year that I was like, I need to get right with the Lord. So I remember getting closer to Him and getting closer to people that were, or God actually put in my path, people that really loved Him, and they just started encouraging me, and I started learning more. He used my siblings as well. He used my older brother Adolfo to really speak into my life at that point. My sister Andreina was going through, you know what I'm saying, a tough time in her life, but God even just used her to speak into my life at that point. Well, here's the deal. When I graduated high school, I was 18. I met this guy who ironically knew my brother when they were in high school. Mind you, my brother's like 8 years older than me, but they knew each other in high school. He was also from Venezuela. I ran into him in this church, his small Hispanic church, and we just kind of clicked. We were friends. I was 18 at the time. I think he was 25, and so yeah, we actually started dating. So at 18, we started dating, and he was like my very first boyfriend that I brought to like my mom, I brought to my dad, and they knew him because he was friends with my older brother when my brother was in high school. When we had just came from Venezuela, so they knew who he was, and they were like, okay, well, I wasn't allowed to date until I was 18. It was a huge no-no. Like my dad's like, no guys, like you need to study, you need to get A's, like I don't want to see any guys in here. But at that point I was like, I'm 18, so I can date. So I started dating him, which was amazing because he is actually my husband now. He turned out to be my husband. So at 18 we were dating for like a year and a half, and then we decided to get married. He proposed when I was 19 years old. When I was 19, let me think. Yeah, I was 19. Actually, I was about to turn 19, maybe like a few days before. I lied, because we got engaged March 3rd, and I turned 19 April 30th. So of course my parents were like kind of flipping out at first, like, wait, you're 18, you literally just graduated high school, you want to get engaged, or you're engaged. So I said, yeah. At that point, honestly, like Oscar really was a huge deal for me in the sense of like God really used him to really like make my relationship with the Lord like solid. He really challenged me. Oh my word, I remember prayer being a huge deal in our relationship. We would pray for anything. Like we would like, pray upon people, and we would just be like, whenever I was with him, I knew that he was somebody special. I knew that God was using him, and man, just how things were led. And when he asked me to marry him, I was like, yeah. So I was young, I was 19, but the people around me that were on fire for God, my mom, my aunt at that time, people that were my pastor at that time, understood what it was, and they understood that this was God's plan, that it was okay, you know what I'm saying, that he was a believer, I was a believer at that time. Like I said, all my brothers and sisters were leaving the house. My younger sister was also leaving. She was going to the Air Force, and I was just like, yeah. So I remember him having a conversation with my dad, and my dad was like, okay. At first he was like kind of on the fence, obviously, and he was like, well, you may not finish school, because at that time I had started college. He's like, you may not finish school, and like, remember, we promised him, we said, listen, we're gonna get married, but we won't have children. We will wait until we are done, or Annie's done with school, and then we'll see. So that's literally what happened. We got married. I was 19, I remember. If I can include a picture, I'll include it in here. I was 19, he was 26, and we got married. It was amazing. We just saw God's hand, even in the ceremony, how people were in his church got together, and people in my family, we all kind of pitched in, and this person did the video, and this person did the music, and my mother-in-law helped us a lot with like the decorations. It was amazing. So I knew for a fact that was from the Lord. So we got married, and I went to school. I went to nursing school. I graduated from Florida Atlantic University. Woo woo, go Owls, fighting Owls, sorry. And so did he. So I remember when we got married, he had actually just finished he had just finished college, and he had already gotten a job, and he was settled, and I was just starting school. So, or I was just starting like nursing school. So, no, school. So we got married. 5 years later, you know what I'm saying, I had finished school. I was already working in the NICU at like a local hospital over here. And yeah, and then that's when we decided to, or when the Lord allowed us to have our firstborn, which is Nathan. So we waited 5 years before we got married to have children, because I was so young, and we wanted, you know, to have like good savings in a house, etc. So we had Nathan. I still worked in the hospital. Then Lucia came along. After Lucia came, she was like 2 years old. We had really prayed to the Lord that I would want to know that I could stay home. I wanted to stay home with my kids. I wanted to raise my kids. I wanted to homeschool my kids. So we prayed about it. At that time, we had a couple of businesses that we had invested in, and we had felt the calling of God to go into ministry. So we prayed, God, we want to go into ministry in any shape or form that you want to call us to. So we had these businesses that we had invested in. They were supposed to return, you know, their what we were making from those businesses were supposed to maintain us or help us pay the bills while we were looking for, you know, an opportunity to be in ministry. So I remember at that time we just dedicated everything to God. We said, God, you know, you take over. We even sold our house. We had a nice house, 4-bedroom, 2-car garage with a pool. We sold it, and we said, God, we want to downgrade because we want to be, you know, we want to work for you. We want to be in ministry. So when that happened, that was in 2015. I had quit my job to stay home with the kids. Oscar, a few months later, had quit his job at the bank so that he can work at ministry. We had completely downgraded, and literally entering into 2016. 2016 was like the worst year ever for us, but in God's eyes it was the best year, because we wanted to get into ministry, like I said, and we had our businesses that started failing, and we thought that God wanted us to, you know, for Oscar to have quit his job and for me to stay home, but we were literally just having a hard time even just making ends meet. I remember in 2016 our businesses were failing. We had a total of 4 businesses. We had to close the door of 2 of our businesses. Thank God that we were able to sell one, and then at that point we had 1 left. We were even just attacked by the devil. You know, our marriage was even attacked, and we went through literally the worst year we have ever, you know, been through. And I remember just questioning God and saying, God, we wanted to work for you. We wanted this to be a ministry. What in the world happened? Why is this like the worst year for us? Like, this is a point where we wanted to take the step and follow you, and everything's falling apart. You know, like I said, we even had issues with our marriage, and like I said, it was the worst year, but it's also the best year. I found that I was pregnant with my youngest, which is Luke, and we were just being obedient because we had 2, and we knew that God wanted us to have another one, so we were obedient, and we had Luke, or I was pregnant with Luke at that time. But it was pretty bad, and I thank the Lord for it, because it wasn't until that year that God really shook us and really made us think that if we want to be involved in God and his ministry and be effective, he really had to mold us. We were ready to jump in, but God said, hold on, I still need to work in a lot of your lives, a lot of areas in your lives. And he used that year to start, not to finish, to start that process. And it was that year when we learned to literally just cry out to God and be on our knees and crying out for even just the basic things, and seeing his grace and his mercy every step of the way. So we experienced 2006. That was like a mark in our life, as in like the worst year yet the best year, where we got to see the real God and see Jesus and his hands and working in our lives in a way that we hadn't before, in a way that we wouldn't have had if we had not gone through what we went through. So 2007 came along, and like little by little, you know, we were still kind of going through stuff, but getting out little by little. And now we're in 2018, and things are not completely fixed. We're still kind of walking through and just kind of still walking out of a lot of trials that we've been going through. But we can stand here today and say, Jesus, we don't know you. we hadn't known you that way if it wasn't for what we went through. And I feel like in every Christian walk with the Lord, if they want to get serious about really getting close to God and really being at His will and in His will and doing His will, you are going to go through this. You're going to go through at least like one huge trial in your life where you're going to question God, and you're going to say, God, I wanted, this, you're supposed to be my God, you're supposed to be providing, you're supposed to be wanting the best for me, and why am I going through this? And God's saying, this is why you're going through this, because I love you so much. I'm going to tweak you and I'm going to mold you so that you could be more effective in what I have for you. So now in 2018, actually going back to 2016, when it was the worst year of our lives, I was pregnant with Luke. Oscar actually decided to start theology school, seminary. So he's going through seminary now. And he wouldn't have started seminary had we not gone through what we went through. So now standing in 2018, he will finish seminary in December. And we are literally at a point where we're saying, God, now we are open. You have really molded our lives. It's not like you're done. I know you still have a long way to go. But you have molded in those places where we really needed you to mold us so that we could be ready for the work that you have set for us. So yes, that is my testimony, guys. That is where we are standing right now as a family in 2018. In 2017, actually, the Lord really put in my heart to start like a blog and an Instagram page and a YouTube channel, to use just like, I love beauty, I love fashion, I love all that, but just being different in that world and just being standing up for Christ in the midst of that, and maybe just using that to attract people that wouldn't normally even come to my channel if it was all, faith-based, but because I can talk about beauty and like, my life and like fashion, things that I already love, the Lord has really put in my life very specific and very special people that I wouldn't have if I had not had that page. And now I'm doing like devotionals Monday through Friday, what I'm saying, that I would not have thought of even doing a few years ago. Like, I had to go through what I went through to be able to just say, God, use me in any way, shape, or form, and to be willing to step out and being used in this way. So we are completely dedicated to the Lord. We are just, our hands are open and we're saying, Lord, use us in any way, shape, or form that you want us to use us, and we will be patient in the way that you do it and how you do it. And that is where we're at right now, and that is why I'm even able to be, here now in this video and speaking to you guys about God and speaking to you about, what He has done in our lives, because He truly is good. He truly does what He says that He will in your life. And my favorite verse is actually found in Philippians 1:6, and I'm going to read it for you. And actually goes like this. It says, and I am sure of this, that He who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. So it's literally just saying, God, the work that you have set out for me in my life, you will complete it, and you will complete it in your time, in the way that you will it to be, at any cost. And it is, first of all, for your glory, and then for my good. So that burning sensation that we had to be in the ministry and to work for God, God will honor that, and He will complete it in our lives, and He will in yours. If you just take the time to get to know Him, to make Jesus the Lord of your life, and to follow Jesus every step of the way, He will do things that you would have never thought that could happen in your life, and things that you can't do apart from the Lord. And all the glory is going to go to Him, but we benefit from that as well, being His children and being His followers. So yeah, guys, I'm sure this video was long and I'm really sorry, but this is my testimony. This is who I am now, and this is what the Lord has done in my life. So just, to kind of end my whole life, my old testimony, it's not that I didn't think it was valid, but my testimony in light of so many that I have heard that they're like, well, I was in the world and I was drinking and I had this and I was into drugs, and then the Lord pulled me out of that, or I was like possessed and the Lord pulled me out of that. For some reason, I didn't think my testimony was a huge deal because of that, because I didn't have that kind of testimony. I was literally just a church girl who grew up in church, and the Lord kind of transformed little by little. So my testimony is not, saying it wasn't like that impacting that I thought, but you know what, every testimony is, because it's a testimony of what God is doing in your life, and your before and after, and that is just more real to you. So my testimony may not be just like other people that were literally brought out of the world, but in my own way, I know that I was brought from darkness to light, that I am now a child of God, and then now I praise Him, with my eyes closed and with my hands up in the air, because I know what He did for me, and I know what He continues to do, and that is what He can do for you as well. So yes, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys. I pray for you guys all the time. I pray that everybody that hears these messages from God, that God can do that work in your life, and He can start molding your life, and that He can become real for you as much as He is for me. And for everybody in the Bible, I mean, like, you have disciples who have literally changed the world because of their relationship with Jesus, and have done wonderful and amazing things in the name of Jesus. And that's what's important, in the name of Jesus. I'll stop talking now. Have an amazing day, and I will see you guys later. Blessings. Bye. Hello everybody, thank you so much for watching my video. It really means the world to me that you guys take the time out of your busy days to watch these videos. There's a couple of things I want to share with you guys really quick. I won't take much of your time, I promise. Number one, I accept prayer requests. If there is anything that you want me or my family to pray for over you, all you have to do is just contact me in any way, shape, or form, and I will absolutely add you to our prayer list. Me and my family pray for this list every single day. And if you want me to add you to our list, just contact me through either my email or social media, and we'll absolutely add you to our list. Number two, if you have an Instagram account, you should totally be following me. Why? Because I go live Monday through Friday, and I do a short devotional or Bible study that lasts anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. Short and sweet, right to the point, but I do this every day for you guys and to just have you have that spiritual connection with the Lord every single day. And number three, if you guys didn't know, I own a graphic t-shirt online shop where I design and I sell graphic t-shirts like the one I'm wearing today. This is our Dusty Rose Fear Not t-shirt. I will link my online shop down below, so all I have to do is just click on it and it'll take you to my shop. I also have included a free shipping code for you guys to use on your first purchase. Alright guys, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!